Hi Marcello, you were saying that you wanted to tell us about your mom and some health problems.
Yeah,
What would you like to tell us?
it's a sad story, but you know, took lots of happiness from our family in the sense that we had some problem with my mother because she got uh, a sickness. I think is called uh, nephritis. In other words, what it was, she was pregnant, and then after I think in the 6 or 7 months, she got nephritis, which is very, very bad. That is something like poisoning your blood. So she went to hospital, and yeah, they confirmed the diagnosis. And they said that she cannot go home, but she had to stay there because it has to be continuously under control. What was the really sad story was that after months in hospital, my father one night came home and take also all us as children around the table, and he said to us, "Be very careful, listen very careful, because I have to tell you something very bad, very sad." He said, "We are losing our mother. You are losing your mother because she's so sick, and they think she are not going to make it." But worse was she was pregnant, as I said. The rules of Italian Catholic and also the government says that in this case the doctor have to save the baby and not the mother. So in other words, my mother would die and the baby should be alive. I don't know what happened, but you can imagine we are already 6 of us. I was the oldest, and I was not too old in the sense that I was probably 15, something like that. And everybody was, the youngest was 2 years old, so Roberto. So we couldn't make any comment. For about 10 minutes, nobody started to tell something or say anything. But we are looking at our father, and he was very, very upset and unhappy. Of course, very unhappy, upset. Certainly, non, very emotional was. Yeah. So it was really a bad moment. So what happened after she was pregnant 8 months, I think, all of a sudden from the hospital, they call us and they says, "Listen, your mother will be alive, but the baby is dead. It happened as a death." So of course, all of us became very happy for what happened. That was one part of our life that I cannot forget because it was shocking, really, very badly. Not just me, but probably me more than everybody else because of the age. You know? Yeah, Roberto was the last one, 2 years old, so he couldn't understand that. But for me, it was a really bad experience, to say. Well, after that, we had a few. I was going to high school. I did all my high school, and then I applied. I want to go. This was my dream. You probably remember in my talk before that I was stubborn. I want to be a pilot. And although my family, they said it was too dangerous because many cadets they're killed, blah, 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 blah. So, but I didn't change my mind. When I was finished the high school, I applied for the Air Force, and thanks God, I was chosen. The good, I like to tell this that after you do the all medical, then you go through what they call a psychological, um, what we call talk between a psychologist and me. Oh, everybody did that. They had to did that. After all questions, sometimes the questions they were really a little bit funny. Talking about sex or talking about how many friends you have. Very strange question. But when I was finished, he told me, he says, you know, my son, you can do whatever you want. You are, the IQ was very high. You know. Whatever you want to go, you let me do, know, and I will assign to you. That's what I went. So I went to academy, and it was a very interesting job, I tell you, because I did so many things. But in the beginning, when I was also probably 20 years old or so, again, my mother, they sent my father sent a letter to the commander of the academy and said that my mother was very ill again, but they didn't tell me what. So they give me a special leave. And I went there. Of course, I was looking all around because when there's an habit when somebody dies in the little village, they put all big manifest, no, saying who is dead. I look around. Finally, I was home after I traveled all night, and they told me that my mother had cancer, breast cancer. So, of course, that was another very strong situation, strong in the sense of a situation. Now she had cancer for the breast, so they had to do a surgery, and then my mother was crying because she knew at that time, 1950 or whatever, no, a little bit later, no, 1950, 52, whatever. She knew that all of the ladies, this kind of cancer, they all died. I mean, we are talking about long ago from now, right? So nobody knew anything much about the cancer. So I went there. When I saw my mother, I hugged her, but she was all covered with the bandage. She was really bad shape. So she was very happy to see me. The funny thing is that I laughed because what happened? Well, I was visiting my mother, and all of a sudden a nurse came to me and says, Mr. Mastrocola, we need you. Can you come? We need you now. I said, okay, what happened? Well, we have an accident. Somebody had an accident. And we need your help. Because, by the way, this was not a hospital. It was a clinic, private clinic. So it's very small. So what happened, a boy, probably about 10, 12 years old, was hit by a truck right on the head, and he had all the scalp off like this. So I went to the surgery room. They told me to hold this guy by the leg, like this. And they start to open all things, just like in India, the scalp, and put some oxygen or disinfectant. This boy was screaming like hell. And I was holding it because, he tried to liberate himself. So certainly was not a nice thing for me after I saw my mother, but they needed help because there was nobody in that clinic at that moment. So finally, they finished, and I can tell you the truth. I went so close to lose conscious. I was so close. It's so unbelievable, unpleasant. So anyway, that was another part of my life. So I came back to the Air Force, and I did it 3 years, as you know, probably here they do the same. And then I started to training. And well, I like it because flying, and then I had more experience about this. I had an episode that I like to dig now. After a year that I was flying with the rescue, search and rescue, so I was flying, and then what happened? A brake, the electrical brake. It was very hot water, started a fire, and I was sitting there with all of my head. and I got burned, but I was able to come back clean. But I was completely burned in my back here. So they took us an ambulance. It took me to the military hospital. No? So I don't remember much, but what I remember that I was very. It was very painful. I had the first, second, and third degrees burned all here. I had high fever, so high that I dare to use something because I was. What do you say? The word I was telling a thing that didn't make sense. Hallucinating, yeah, thing that didn't make sense. So I spent another week in the hospital. Then they gave me another about 10 days in the infirmary, and then of course they give me a leave for health problem, no? So I went home now this time, and what happened, it was from Torino to go that where my family was. It was all night by train, at that time. So I came home. It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I ring the bell, and my mother come up there. Oh, Marcelino, what happened? How come you are here? Oh, they give me some leave. I don't want to tell anything. But there was, you know what she said? Oh, it's so nice. I'm so happy that you came and give me a big brass. How you big
Hug.
eh?
Hug.
Hug,
hug.
big hug. Yeah. Sorry. Big hug. A big hug. I have so much pain here. Oh, it's there like this, no? And there I go. They came out. It was not a leave, but it was a problem. My mother was very strong, you can imagine. So I had to tell that I'm proud to do this and that, and what really happened. But I spent 2 weeks there, and I was very happy because all my friends there again, and they saw me in the uniform, so beautiful. So I was so happy. So now we are almost at another episode, but I think we start another time.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that sounds good.
Okay. I hope everything is clear because
Bravo.
sometimes I'm a little bit nervous.
Nope. Perfect.